So we were just talking about image generation, but OpenAI's Sora video generation, quote unquote, in a Forbes article you recently wrote, stunned the AI community and is 2 to 3 years ahead of expectations. Why do you think this is such a big leap forward? I have my own opinions too, but I would love to hear yours. And do you have advice for media organizations that are trying to combat misinformation now that generative video is becoming so incredibly capable?
Yeah, so for Sora, we earlier talked about the fact that we regularly get surprised by how fast these tools are developing, and I felt that I was keeping a really close eye on generated video and how generative AI was helping with creating video. So I was seeing how it could generate backdrops for movies, how it would help us to edit things better and faster. When I saw Sora, I was blown away by the fact that it could produce almost movie quality video based on scripts and based on prompts. So for me, huge concerns about what it means for actors in the future, what it means for filmmaking, but also huge excitement around how it would just democratize another modality, that it would democratize filmmaking. So I could now sit down and come up with this super creative plot and make a film. And if this technology develops in any way on the trajectory that we've seen it develop, then we will have that in a year or two where we can create entire movies based on this, and that for me is super exciting. And as then again, if we're not only using generative AI to create a specific movie, but generate a movie as we are watching it to almost emerge based on other inputs on what we like, if we then combine it with some of the data we can get from headsets like the Vision Pro headset that monitors your eye movement, so you can then see, okay, I'm watching this movie, but I'm really watching this particular character in this movie because I like that. I'm fascinated by this character. So this character can then become bigger in this movie and take a bigger role in this. So the movie could almost emerge based on feedback that we are giving it. And for me, that has so many huge implications of how we are making films and the future of filmmaking. So yes, it is a huge deal, and it will be super interesting to see where this is going.
You're exactly spot on the things that I find most interesting about this too. I constantly think to myself about how film will be transformed because it could be more like a choose your own adventure kind of book, but with unlimited avenues. You know, you're not choosing between two or three paths at a given step. You are at any possible instant choosing any possible direction. You could dictate that.
Yeah, and for me, it's almost merging video gaming with music making. And if I think about my kids that spend um, quite a lot of time playing with their friends in video games, at the moment, these a good example is these non-player characters that you sometimes encounter. So if you're playing Fortnite, there might be this other dude coming along, and then you have a conversation with this person, but that conversation is pretty limited today because it's pre-scripted. So some programmer had to come up with what this person looks like and the conversations you can have with them. In the future, this can be all completely dynamic, where the AI will generate a character based on what you've just experienced. You can have any conversation with them because it can be fueled by large language models. So this for me is again super exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. Something that I think of as a corollary to this is that I suspect films with only one possible avenue through them will still probably exist because there is something about the shared human experience of those where so I think they complement each other. I don't think we'll see traditional film as we have it today, with one storyline disappear. But yeah, these completely dynamic films or experiences, They're inevitable. They're happening soon. We
And
actually, yeah,
as you say, they're already happening to some extent. It is
yeah.
changing. Where this will all go and where we will land, we don't know yet, which is makes it all very exciting.
A past episode that listeners may be interested in that is related to this is episode number 711 with Ajay Jain. In that episode, he's the CEO of a company called Genmo.ai, which is generating motion. And they render video. You can go to their website right now and provide it with a still image and have that be turned into a video that's a few seconds long. Sometimes it's very cool. And they also generate 3D assets for filmmakers, which is a nice niche and something that will happen more and more. You don't need to be granular in the weeds on designing those assets anymore. It can just be a text prompt.